Hello, hello. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Welcome to Real Talk, Real Solutions with Dr. Anana. I am happy you are here. It is a winning Wednesday. So listen, guys, I hope you see. I got on some new merch. You see the bling? Moms on a mission. We now have some merchandise. I'm so super excited to get my y'all know I have to come with the bling. I have to come with the bling. So today I'm rocking my Mom's on a Mission t-shirt. Super excited about it. And it's time. It's time for Real Talk, Real Solutions. I'm not wasting any time today because let me tell you, I have a guest. I have a guest from down under. From coming live from Australia, which I believe it's like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I think 5 o'clock actually in the morning, but she is here. And I hope you're ready. I want you to get your pen and paper out. I want you to make sure that you like this broadcast, you share this broadcast because it is time for Real Talk, Real Solutions. Now you guys know here in North America, us here in the United States of America, whoa, we had a rough night last night. we witnessed the presidential debate. I got myself together. I know some of my posts last night might have been a little tense, but we survived that debate, and we survived. So we survived that debate, and I'm glad to be able to come on tonight, bring some sunshine, bring some energy, some encouragement, and some motivation to the audience. So I am glad to be here. I'm super excited about the guests that we have tonight. So make sure I'm giving you some time to share this broadcast, invite someone to watch with you. You know what it is. So now, many of you know and you're familiar with Blessed Girls. Blessed Girls is our global girls leadership mentorship program. And with that, you know, the main thing is to develop leadership skills in girls around the globe. And that's what we're doing step by step. I can't even believe it. It'll be 3 years now since we started the organization. That is exactly what we're doing. And in doing that, I am passionate about making sure that girls have equal access to education, to support, to resources, and of course, to major mentors and leaders like we have tonight. So without further ado, I want to tell you just a little bit about our guest because I'm super excited because one thing you know, with this show, we like to focus on the 4 C's. What's the 4 C's? The 4 C's is civility. Yes, civility, community, creativity, and climate change. And let me tell you, my guest has got the 4 C's down pat. She represents the 4 C's all day and every day in every which way. How about that? So I'm excited because I can cover all these aspects with her tonight, and she's going to do just that. Now, her name is Mireille Toulekima. I hope I said it right. Now, I hope I got that right. But let me tell you just a little bit about her. Now, she is an award-winning global entrepreneur. Did you hear that? Global entrepreneur. So where my mompreneurs out there, she is a global energy consultant, an international speaker, coach, published author, and talk show host. Now, and she's a mom on a mission. She's a wife and a mother. She's going to share a little bit about that even with her story. She is the host of the Greatness Engineering Show. Okay, I've had the pleasure of being a guest on her show. She now hear about that show. The engineer greatness around the world wherever you go. She is a petroleum engineer who gained her experience working for more than 25 years in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, and Australia in a range of technical and leadership roles for major oil, gas, and energy companies. She has published 1, 2, 3 books. So y'all get ready. She is a true global citizen who has lived and worked across 4 continents and traveled to over 30 countries. Y'all think we're doing something? Boy, oh boy, we're ready to talk. Over 30 countries. Now listen, Mireille, she carries out empowerment work internationally with a particular focus on women, girls, STEM, and global leadership. Now, because of her work, she was inducted in the Global Library of Female Authors, and she serves as a female civility ambassador and received the Power of Collaboration Lifestyle Award. I just got to stop and clap right there. I got to stop and clap right there. Now, she is a part of the new wave of women. Come on, y'all. Y'all ready for the new wave of women? The new wave of women who have embraced spiritual consciousness, mindfulness, as well as non traditional industries, globalization, innovation, and digital disruption. Oh man, I love this. Because sometimes I say, listen, I am a disruptor. We come to change, to flip things over, to change the atmosphere, no more of the norm. And that is exactly what she does. Now, she dares to risk high and dream big. She made it her commitment and her personal mission to help others to become the best that they can be in order to come out of the mass and stand in their own shining light. I love that. One of the essence for Blessed Girls is to help girls shine, to help them soar. And she is doing just that. Now, without further ado, listen, I want you to welcome to the screen, welcome to the Real Talk, Real Solutions, Moms on a Mission movement, all the way from Australia, Mireille Toulekima. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Hello, everybody. How are you?
So we're going to say good morning to you.
It's really early morning for me, but I'm so excited to be here and to interact with your audience.
This is great. This is great. This is great. So we know it is now 5 o'clock in the morning for you.
No,
Six,
six, six,
6 o'clock.
six.
12 hours.
So it's okay.
12 hours Eastern Standard Time. And you look so fabulous, sis. I see you. Your colors is looking good. Your face is shining. You looking good for 6 o'clock in the morning.
It's another day, and it's a shining day, so I have to shine as well.
Amen. That's it. That's it. So welcome, welcome. As I was saying, of course, with Blessed Girls, working with girls, I'm super honored to have an amazing leader like yourself, a global leader like yourself, to be on this platform and to share and tell us about your story. Now, I know that I was just even looking at even statistics when we talk about girls in STEM, and even more so when we talk about the disparities of girls and females, but then also Black girls, women of color in dealing with the sciences. And it's for you to be a leader, to have someone that works in this environment, that teaches, that leads in this environment. I would love to hear from you as we talk about even dealing with the pandemic. Please tell us what, the state of the world, if you will, where we are right now, and where do you see us going in regards to, of course, making girls more aware and more interested in STEM.
I mean, it's always been a key challenge. I think since I've been in this, in those industry where women are a minority, and those challenges sometimes are things that we think we can't overcome. And that's why, I like being in platform like yours to be able to show, girls or women that, it's possible, whatever the challenges we have, whatever, obstacle we have, everything is possible. And, with what's happening right now, it's even more, an opportunity for us, especially for us being minorities in certain area to give a voice, to everything that's happening right now. And I always, when I talk to girls, and I've been talking to girls, I talk to them all the time because I made a commitment that my story is going to be something that I want them to build on. And when I talk to them, I said, you always have to focus on the opportunities, because that's how I managed to get over all the obstacles that I've had being the only woman on in the room, being the only black woman in the room. There's so many things that you have around going against you, that you don't want to focus on that. You want to focus on all the opportunities that you have around. So just to put things in perspective, I just wanted to talk about my story. I mean, I'm originally from West Africa. I come from a country called Gabon, and I think a lot of people don't know about Gabon because the population is very small. I think right now it's only a population of 2 million, and back then it was a million when I really started to travel and go out and for work first of all, but also for my leadership work. As I was going. So I was born in Gabon, and so I grew up partly in Gabon. And when I was a teenager, my parents decided to send me to France because my dad, who was coming from a very poor family himself, was very focused on education. So for him, it was about giving us the best that we could have as far as education was concerned, even if it means that he had to sacrifice himself. And one of the things that my dad was, telling us at that time, because it was seven of us, and he was telling us, I'm not going to leave you any wealth or anything. The only wealth, if I can express myself this way, that I'm going to give you, it's excellent education, and I expect you to use that to grow yourself and to help people in the process. So that's what we had. They sacrificed themselves to send me, to Europe in France to continue my secondary, education. So I left Gabon very young. I was in my teens. I was 14 years old. And there was a debate around, am I going to go to boarding or are they going to send me into a family? And what happened, my mom was so concerned, and then seeing, what was going on, me going alone, she said, I don't want her to go to boarding because I don't want her to get all those bad influences that, at this age are exposed to. So it was quite a heated debate with my dad, and they then decided to send me into a family. So that was my first contact with diversity, because I went into this family. They were all white, and I was the black girl around. They just had lost their one of their daughter to cancer, and they had another daughter with them. So what happened, when I stayed with this family, helped me a lot to really, have put my roots and understand who I was, and really understand it spiritually, but also understand that race sometimes is just about, what you want to see. Because I can assure you, living in this family, and I don't know if it's because they lost their daughter and they gained another daughter by me coming there, I basically, understood what it was to be loved, even when you look different from other people. So I've stayed with this family, had, my upbringing, schools and everything. And that's when I really started to have, my go at diversity, where, at home I was loved, irrespective of what I looked like. But outside, I had to, face another way of being seen, which was, I was black, and people telling me certain things that, I was puzzled because I couldn't actually figure out that, you live with people who look different, and they treat you a certain way, they embrace you, and they show you that you care, and you go outside, those people, they look like the same people, but when they come back to you, it's a negative, it's a negative energy that they bring into you. So I
Wait, wait,
started to
wait,
really,
wait a minute, Mireille. I gotta stop you because you've touched on so many things that I gotta just put a pin in that. Now I see Arlene is watching. Thank you, Arlene. She says it's amazing her father didn't have a poverty mindset. That's awesome. And I want to stop even just about your dad, where I'm not gonna be able to leave you no money, but the one thing I can do is make sure that you get an excellent education, right? And be able to grow yourself. That's powerful, right? So I want to put a pin in that one. And then the other one is the fact that you said that race is about what you want to see. Okay. That's really good because, of course, and I even open this that, we're dealing, of course, here in North America, a lot of, racial injustices and things that are going on. So it's good to even hear, a different perspective and a different experience from you, now at 14, is that right? I
Yeah,
want to
14,
break it
yeah.
down. You went to live with a white family, right? At the age of 14, you went to live with a white family in France, right? That loved you and adored you, I'm sure, right? But you're saying that when you went out in the streets of France, not so much love, huh?
No,
Is that what you
not
saw?
so. Yeah. So you had this different, reaction from people who look the same. I mean, what you look at the race, but responding differently. So that's why I said it's really about what you want to see. It's not about, the color or anything. It's really about what you want to see and the value that you have as well, and also, not really opening up yourself, getting the opportunity to know the person before you can judge the person. And I think that's where we get stuck in this racial tension that we have all over the place. It's not just in North America. It's probably more pronounced in North America, but it exists everywhere. I mean, I've traveled everywhere. It exists even between African. It exists. So it might be first a race problem in the US, but I mean, in the African context, it's an ethnic problem. So those problems exist and they are there and they are very difficult to manage until people start to open up and really, start to open themselves and have a proper conversation to know who they're talking to, what environment they are in, and not judge, the book by its cover. Open the book, read it, and then you can judge, but not before you've done that.
That's good. That's certainly good. So I just wanted to stop there because again, that was that's a very current topic. That's a real issue that we're dealing with, and this is real talk, real solutions, and you are certainly bringing some solutions, and I love that. Race is about what you want to see because like you said, we come with our own preconceived ideas and notions about a person just from the way that they look, the things that they wear, the way that they talk, but really being open, to learn and to understand about the differences is certainly key. So thank you for that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but go ahead. But
No,
I have to make sure.
it's important that you bring the key point, because for the audience that's the most important thing that they need to understand is that there are problems, but these are things that have gone through and how I managed to address them, to manage them, so that they can take it as well and try to, use some of those strategies as well in their own environment, because it's not always easy. And I've learned so much from interacting with different people, listening to different people. So I think that's important that, we put out there those points and tell them these are key points that you need to remember.
Yes.
And I like that. So that's the setting that I was in, and then had a fantastic time with this family. And then when I was at an age where I could live alone, and so I left, and that was the real life, because where I was still very protected in this environment. And so I left and started to live on my own. But then tragedy, just struck. My dad, passed away. I was still doing my bachelor, and at the last year, and I had big dreams. I wanted to continue, do, a PhD, and I love, mathematics and languages. So I had, all this dream, and things were going well, and then he passed away. And him being the main brand, winner, I couldn't actually stay in France anymore. So after almost, 10 years living in France with this family and visiting my family really every 2 years, because at that time, it was so expensive to go back, and my dad was, providing for everybody. So I just had to finish and go back, to be with my family and to be with my mom, and which become a very challenging period for me, because I had to find a job, irrespective of what I wanted to do, because mom couldn't cover for everybody. And that was, when I got involved and went into the oil and gas industry, not knowing anything about the industry. What happened is that back then in Gabon, they were looking for young graduate, because there was a lot of pressure from the government to bring in people from, young people from the country, to be able in this industry that was really, starting to take off and bringing a lot of money to the country. So that's how I went into, oil and gas. And guess what? The challenges started, because even if I was in Gabon, which is predominantly a country, with black people, when I went into the oil and gas industry, it was run by, Caucasian mostly, and I was tested, because I was sent, I was hired by this multinational, and then was sent, in a very, very, very remote area. And when I went there, I mean, I had to speak English. I mean, I'm French. I was French, only speaking French back then. I had to adapt. I had to do so many things, and the judgment started, because coming into this industry, not only just discovering the industry as a graduate, not speaking the language very well, which was, seen as not speaking the language, seen as she doesn't know what she's talking about, so she's not qualified. So I had to fight all those, big, those judgment, against me. I was, even if I was recognized as being, smart at school, and really an asset for the industry and for the company, I was basically, parked somewhere, not involved in any project, and basically doing the work of a person that actually didn't actually go far at school. So I had to sit down and tell myself, I think the first reaction was really looking at it as a victim. So being the victim, and people don't like me, and my color this, and they are racist, and I started to look at it from a different point of view, and from a spiritual point of view. I told myself, Mireille, everything happened for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. So if God sent you here, it means that you have a mission. You have a mission, and when God tell you have a mission, you have to be up to the mission, and you're gonna stand up for yourself, and you're gonna make a difference in this industry, irrespective of what people think about you. Because what people think about you, it's actually none of your business. Focus on the opportunity that God has given you, and start woman up, if you can say it this way, and get going. Stop, playing the victim. Those things are there. Those limitations are there. There's a ceiling. There's whatever you want to see. But don't look at the limitation. Don't look at the ceiling. Look at the potential that you have and the opportunity that you have. Being a woman, a black woman in this industry, and making a difference. And that was the wake-up call. That was the wake-up call, because I needed this boost, to go for, and really look at God, because I was like, He sent me here, and I'm going to show them that, I'm the daughter of the Most High, and I'm going to smash everything here. So that was my,
Mireille, you gotta
my
stop. You gotta
mindset
stop. Wait a
about
minute.
things.
Wait a minute, Mireille. Wait. I mean, because that's so much right there, okay? And I told you, this is some real talk, and I know that there's some folks watching that really need to hear exactly what you're saying, because if nothing else, you are such a testimony. You are
Mhm,
one that if she did it, I did it. Because first of all, you said I was tested. You talked
mhm,
about opportunity,
mhm,
I always talk about this, and even a lot of times, even when I'm speaking to women, we got to be comfortable with saying yes. We
mhm,
usually, just because you don't know everything, just because you're going around people that are not like you might be
mhm,
going to a foreign land. If the opportunity, if God opened that door, your answer should be yes, right?
mhm,
Because,
mhm,
we rely on our own, right? Our own ability, what we think
mhm.
of ourselves. But God's vision for us is so much
So
bigger
you,
than what we could have ever imagined, right? So
mhm,
I always say it's not about you, boo, but it's the God in me. And the God in me is so great that, yeah, he'll have me at the Queen's table. He'll have
mhm,
me, sitting with what petroleum and gas and, all this
mhm.
amazing science and things where you're like, am I the only, forget about just the only person of color, but then a
Exactly.
woman of color, right? This
Mhm,
is that is just such an incredible part of your story. And I
mhm,
had to just stop you there, right? And just make sure people really get it, right?
mhm,
Because
mhm,
you had to, you look outside of yourself and it really say, okay, if God brought me to this position, if he got me here, he hand plucked you, right? You went from Gabon, right?
mhm,
Gabon, right, to France, right? And then, of course, losing up your dad, which that alone could have stopped you, right?
mhm,
You could have just
mhm,
followed whatever the status quo it was, right? In Gabon. But God said, no, no, I got something else for you to do. I got a bigger plan for you. And you
mhm.
went forward with that opportunity. All right, guys, I'm going to shut up. Keep on going.
Yeah, so and that's a key one. It's like, it starts with you, and it's about you and God. It's not about you and anybody saying anything that you're gonna focus on. No, don't focus on what people are saying about you. Focus on you. And you need to have this time when you sit down with yourself as well and understand, who am I? What can I bring, to the equation in my community, in everything that I do, for my children, for anybody, for my parents? What can I do? What are the strengths that I have? Yes, I have, and understand what are your limitations as well. And then if you have limitation, don't focus on those limitations, because like Dr. Nana was saying, God has, everything that you're missing. Just ask, he's going to bring it. And that's what I did, when I had this fire coming into and realizing that I was there for a purpose, and I had to fulfill, this mission that God was giving me. Things started to take off, and I started to be assertive and really showing what I could do, and learning in the process, learning, asking. Even when people were trying to hide things, I would go to them and ask them about something that I didn't understand, because I knew that was, this knowledge was what was going to help me to go higher and to go to the next level professionally, but also even for myself, to understand that, as I go and learn more, I become more comfortable, I become more powerful, and I start to have a voice, and my voice become louder in this industry that I was coming in as a minority. So that was a key one. I think that was a key step for me to really start to have the right mindset in everything that I had, in front of obstacle, in front of everything. And after I had this wake-up call, my philosophy was actually to look at me being a minority as an asset, as something positive, because I was telling myself at some point, you know what, Mira, you're actually lucky, because you're the only black woman into this industry. That it means that wherever you're gonna go, if you excel, everybody's going to remember you, because they're going to remember this Black woman who did a great job, and you going to stand out of the obscurity that people want to put you in. And that's the mindset that I went into. I said to myself, everything that you're going to touch in this industry, you have to do it to the best of your ability. You have to bring your best. You have to go the extra mile, because people have to remember who you are and understand that, this color that you wear and this gender that you have is not a limitation for you to deliver something exceptional and to go the extra mile, because you need to stand up for that. You need to stand up for yourself. You're not going to be judged because of how you look like. You're going to be judged for what you bring in this industry. And if you bring the most, people are going to respect you. And that's the mindset that I went into this industry to become, an influence globally. Because as soon as you bring the result, as soon as you deliver more than anybody, you become the focus, and people start to change the narrative and start to understand, you know what, we have to follow this person.
That's good. Listen, guys, let me tell you, if what they say, are you picking up what she's putting down tonight? Because there's a few things just even about this that is so key, and honestly, I'm learning just as the audience, right? We really have not, you interview me, and now this is my opportunity to interview you, so I am learning more about you all the way, through just your speaking and the journey. And it is just so incredible, because even, and I just love the synergy. I just love how God puts things together, right? Because the one thing even about
Amazing.
Blessed Girls is about, understanding that obstacle, that thing that you think is the worst thing, that, like you said, as a victim, that really is the opportunity, that really is the blessing. Like that one thing that the enemy will try to have you in a corner crying ashamed about is the one thing that makes you exactly who you are, and it makes you be the blessed girl or the blessed guy that you really are. So I could just run around this room about that one. Look, I could go ahead on in. So okay. So that is so key, and you're just an example of that, and it's so powerful. And so a little bit about your story, and I want people even to know, because they're watching, you might not even know what STEM is, right? We can take it for granted, right? So STEM, and I want to make sure I get it right, is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, right?
That's
So,
correct, yes.
and for you, I guess is engineering was your
It's
focus.
engineering, which is petroleum engineering, which is specific to the oil and gas and energy sector. So that's where I qualify, basically, because I actually come from and like you said, God is just amazing. I came from an IT background, so I was doing IT. And in France, you don't specialize after before the master. So I had this IT where I really wanted to specialize, and I was also doing a lot of physics. So when I went into the oil and gas industry, because I think at that time in the US they already had the petroleum engineering, specific degree. So I went into the industry as a petroleum engineer, and I was trained as a petroleum engineer. So doing first a lot of work with computers, obviously, and then moving more into operation. And more specific to that industry. So again, God is amazing. Something that I didn't know about. He just said, "There's gonna be training for you, and you're gonna learn, and you're gonna go and do well." So, like you said, everything is set up. You
Yeah,
just have to
set
have the
up.
right mindset, look at the right direction, which is focused on your strength, and focus on God, because He's the one laying up everything for us. Because sometimes we don't listen. We're not, we listen at everything except God. And yet He's here. He's in front of me. He's everywhere. Where are you looking? What are you looking everywhere, instead of looking in His direction and asking Him, what you need? Because that's the important thing that you need to know. and
That's good.
go for.
And,
So yeah, it's a key thing. So I would say the spiritual, connection with God is the one that you have to focus on, and whatever limitation that people put on you, it's actually your opportunity to show them that yes, if you have this, it's because there's a purpose, and show them what the purpose is by delivering even above everything that above any more than anybody that they can meet in their life, and
oh,
it has to
that's
be
huge. And
your.
even again, I want to always raise awareness, and because we're on assume. So when we talk about STEM, and what I found that even in research, that engineering, and I think it's the technology piece of it, right? Let me just make sure the computer science piece of it, which you were in, is really the lowest level, like for females, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that if you want to say like career wise, and even based upon university, that's like the lowest number where females would even go into that, right? Right. So that's something that really is a male driven area, if you will. And then here come Mireille. God just set you up to be the leader in that. But also, I believe that, of course, for you now, because it's really big that we, in order to even know about or consider it, I need to see somebody who looks like me, right? Because I know that I've learned. So I just in just some of the research, even working with girls, is that the fact that most of the science books will show a man in
Yeah.
that area, I'm sure, with the lab coat on in the field, right? So you never even see, forget about just a female, but definitely a female of color. So just seeing you in that role, I'm sure just shifted atmospheres. I mean,
Exactly.
look,
And I've seen, after, because when I started, there was not a lot of us, black, especially in Gabon. So when this wave, we started to come out and share our stories, I could see, a lot more girls being really confident and coming into this industry, and, looking at doing science. So that's why we have to share our story. Even if it's been a painful journey, we have to share it, because we are a blessing to somebody else, and this story has to come out. And that's the mission that I've given myself, is that I need to share this story, because I'm going to bless, somebody else. I'm going to inspire somebody else. And I keep, telling myself, this is it. And what I also realize is that, and I talked about it just before, is that when you start to deliver, and when you start to really be confident, the way people look at you is changing, because you now become part of the family. And what happened when, I went with the new mindset in the oil and gas industry, people started to actually not see my color anymore, not see my gender anymore, because they could see that I could, blend and bring value to, to any project, and to them in a team of men as well. And that's when I also, look at, have also mentorship from men, because that's what I really want to stress out for any woman being in a male-dominated environment. Don't look at yourself as, don't look at the gender. Just, if you need help, go and talk to the men, and get those mentors. Even if you don't have a woman around, get those mentors to help you, because they're going to help you navigate the system. Because, you need to understand how men function as well, so that you can lead them. If you want to become a leader, you need to understand how they communicate, what they stand for. And those men mentors are going to help you to do that. So don't try to just, have a woman mentor, have a man mentor that can help you to go to the next level of your greatness. And the other thing that, that is important when you are, a minority, or you're the only woman or the only black person, is to always be aware of what's going on, always get the latest information, get it, and be ahead, because that's what's going to keep you going. Be ahead. That's what's going to keep people understand that they can't do without you. So have the information, train, and improve yourself. Try to go, like I said, to the next level of your greatness, and outperform, your what you were yesterday, and not look at it as comparing yourself to the man or comparing yourself to anybody. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday and try to go as high as you can, because we through this process, what I understood is that we are unlimited. We are really unlimited. And when I sat down, a few years ago, when I look at my journey, I just realized that I went through a process that myself I didn't understand. And this process is, I finally package it into a leadership system that I call DARE. And DARE is stand for, decide, decide, act, and then review and expand. So let me explain a little bit, if we have time, what it's all about. I talked about my story, and the decision changed my mindset to be able to understand that I had to focus to God. That was a decision that I had to take. And this decision started everything in my life, and allow me to be where I am right now. I had to take this decision to be who I am here. And it's the same for you in your life, in everything that you do, irrespective of all the obstacles that you have. You have to decide, how do I want to look at what sits in front of me? Do I want to be a victim, or do I want to say, okay, I'm going to use that to go to the next level of my greatness, or to improve myself, or to expand myself? So this decision, you have to take it. Nobody can take it for you, because that's how everything starts. That's where excellence starts. That's where greatness starts. That's where everything that you want to do starts. So this decision process is important. The next step is, when you've decided, you have to have a strategy. You have to have a plan. You have to know how you're gonna, become what you want to become. How are you gonna go to the destination that you want to go? And this comes down to taking action, because whatever you do, and whatever mindset you have, and whatever dreams that you have to put the work, and that's the action part that you have to do. And then when you've acted, and when you've done, certain things, what's going to happen is, it might work or it might not work, but you don't have to be deterred for that. So you have to review what didn't work, especially if it didn't work. You have to review, say, okay, why didn't work? What are the shortcomings? Where did I fail? Is it because I didn't have I didn't have the knowledge? Is it because I didn't have enough of what was required? And start to look for it. It can be because you're not qualified enough, so go and educate yourself. It can be because you don't have time. Go and hire somebody, or go and collaborate with somebody who's going to help you to make sure that he has options, and make sure that you rectify, and to get back to where you want to be. And after that, you repeat the process. And when you're happy, when your review is okay, you don't stay there. You don't stay. I could have, from the first step, from the first, success that I had in the industry, I could have tell myself, okay, now I sit down, I'm comfortable in this industry, I stop there. No, you have to expand. You have to reach out. You have to look where you can, bring your knowledge, where you can grow as well, and where you can grow other people, because it's not just about you. It's about the people that you live with. It's about your community. It's about your country, and it's about the all the women that you represent. It's about all the Black women that I represent. It's not just about me at this stage. Yes, I am. I'm happy with what I have, but I have to expand. I have to give an end to another person, so that this thing doesn't stop with me, and we can expand as a community. And that's really what I'm looking for, is that you empower yourself to empower others. This power doesn't stay with you. This power has to expand, and it has to go as far as we can.
Ooh, oh my goodness. Let me make sure everybody got that. So the decide is the D, right? And then A is to act. You guys got that? R is to review, and
Mm-hmm.
E is to expand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I love it. I love it. That is the Dare leadership system of Mireille. So that alone, we can just dive right in there. But I know we got some more to talk about, because here's the thing. So you are an engineer. You served in this role for 25 years plus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then what happened? Because now you're an author, you're a speaker, you're a lecturer, you have a magazine, you have books. How did you make that transition? And how did you just leave that industry and say, okay, I know I have an idea of how, but can you tell us? Because I get that part, and I know that, that transition is not easy, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I know even for myself, I was working in corporate America, and everything, this is it felt like I had arrived. I thought, making this great
Mm-hmm.
amount of money, and have the office, and it seems like I'm there, and then it's like, no, but there's more. There's
Exactly.
other things for you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that just resonates with me when I see, a woman as yourself who then shifts into something, I can't say completely different, but you just go
Mm-hmm.
into a whole nother realm, and
Mm-hmm.
really, move your life, and I'm sure. So tell me about that. How did you then become the author, the lecturer, the speaker, the television host, the TV host? Tell me about that. How did that all come about?
No, I mean, and that's why I talked about this system, because I just realized that this is what I followed. So I was, like you said, comfortable and in my bubble and everything. And I did the review. And I said, okay, yes, I'm there. I'm happy. I'm, but something is missing. I have to expand. I can't stay here. I
Yeah,
have
that's
room
good.
for expansion. I can do more,
Yes.
because I'm not limited. I'm not limited to being an engineer. I'm not limited to work in the oil and gas industry. I've grown. I know new things, and I can grow more. And that's, this part that actually propel me to start to implement other things, and understand that, I had actually knowledge and skills that I could, put out there to really live the life that I wanted, and to really do what I wanted to do. Because in a way, I got into the oil and gas industry after, a tragedy. I really loved working there, but it was not really what, it was meant to be. And I had a great time. I'm really, grateful for the beautiful international career and very fulfilling career that I had. But I realized that, it's not just about me. It's not just about me. It's about other people. So I started to look at, right, because I felt like at some point that I didn't have really a voice in a way. Yes, I was in this industry, but my reach was really limited. So I thought about, writing books. Not only because I started to write books in the industry, so which actually helped me to expand globally, because then from being just an engineer, or from being just a leader, a middle management leader, I became a thought leader in the industry. So the book writing actually gave me this voice in this industry, where when things happen, they're like, okay, we have this thought leader. We have to bring her on stage. We have to bring her in this conference. We have to bring her. So then you start to really have a voice, and people start to listen to you. So that was the part. And then I drifted to write more on self-development and empowerment. And that's how the leadership, journey started, with, the book, which is Stepping into Your, my first book, development book, was Stepping into Your Greatness, 12 Rules for Building an Outstanding Life, which is, which are the rules that I think have worked for me to become what I became. And then from this book, I thought about what can I do more than the book. So started really, reach out on speaking, not only about the book, but also bringing my story with that. And then the talk show, which came, as also a platform where I bring people who have stories like me, that can inspire people to go to become the best version of themselves. Because as you mentioned before, if you can see it, you can do it. And by seeing it, by listening to those leaders that come in the show, they become really this fear of going the extra mile kind of settle a little bit, and they can try to emulate or use any strategy that is brought onto those platforms. And then the education side, which is thinking about the next generation, and that's the lecturing and going into university and creating platform for young girls and focusing on STEM. And as part of this process, I started STEM Queens in Uganda, and so I've been focusing on girls in Africa, but also indigenous girls here in Australia, because they go through the same process where they have a lot of doubt, fear, and there's also the racism that they have to go through, and really use my story to empower them as well. And also the African Australian community that we have as well, because a lot of the young generation as well, they only know this country, but they go through all the racism that we've been going through, and we need to help them. I mean, for us it was easier because we could say that we're coming from somewhere, but for them, they're born here. So why, do they have to go through it? So you have to guide them. You have to understand, that you bring them the right message and help them to have the right mindset so that they can become the person that they want, and be really, know who they are and what are the strengths, and know that, irrespective of what's happening, they have a future, and there's always an opportunity for them. So doing that is really about expanding, and the part of the leadership system, expanding and bringing others with me, and not leaving anybody behind, and focusing more on women and girls. But also now I got dragged into even men now, and so
Right.
I'm expanding a little bit more. And
Certainly, certainly.
that's
It's just
that's really, and it's fulfilling for me, because I now realize that I bring value, and I help people to be happy. I help people to
yes,
understand that they are valuable.
yes,
And when they understand that, you see them running like mad. And I always tell people, especially the young people that I mentor or coach, that you're lucky because you have my story. So you start where I am right now, and you have to do better, because you already have my story, you have my mistakes,
hmm,
and you shouldn't be below that.
right. The
That's your
starting point.
standard.
Right, right.
That's the point. And then you have to move up. And
That's
that's what I want
incredible.
from you.
That's incredible. I mean, there's so much in that when you talk about mentorship, right?
Mhm,
And then having mentors that may was not females,
mhm,
definitely probably weren't people necessarily of color, right?
mhm,
But you having to use what was there, right? To create
mhm,
those relationships, those collaborations. So I love
mhm,
mentorship is so key. Like, listen, you gotta get a mentor, guys. They might
mhm,
not look like you, talk like you, come from where you come from, but it is so important to have mentorship. And you really spoke to that. Get the info and know that is you are limitless. Like whatever the hardest thing or the biggest thing that you could even think of, God has got that 10 times better for you, 10 times
mhm,
more for you, right? So I love just those are some of the key things that I take away. I see a lot of people are talking about stepping into your greatness. You
mhm,
have certainly done that and helping others do the same. Mentorship expanding not only to girls, but then of course for boys, right? Because
mhm,
everybody needs that leadership. So
mhm,
there's two
mhm.
things I want to share because you see how time is going, right? This is what
Yeah,
happens. You're right. We got a lot to talk about.
I don't want to leave this platform anymore.
This is what we do, right? This is it's just real talk, right? Conversations, and of course, you're talking about bringing solutions. So I love that. So the one thing that I learned because when I actually was in Burundi, I met an amazing sister from Australia. And I'm like,
Mhm,
you're from Australia? What? I didn't even know they had sisters in Australia. So that was eye opening for me. thing. And then to connect with you as well. And like you said, to learn more about the Australia and the African connection, and that story. So I don't know if you even have time. We might have to have you. You definitely got to come back, Mireille. When the book drops and the next thing, the magazine, like you got to come back and talk more. So that's one thing I thought maybe you could just touch a little bit about that. And how did you get from Gabon, France, back to Gabon, and now in Australia, what that journey looked like, right?
Mhm.
And then the last thing is when we talk about a mom on a mission, you are a wife and a mother of two girls. And I just wanted you, just inspiration as far as family life and your personal life and all these things that were going on with you when you're developing as an amazing international global citizen and dealing in engineering, right? How did you then be a wife and have children and family? What does that look like? I mean, just all right,
Yeah.
like 5 minutes. Tell me, Bray.
In 5 minutes is difficult. So I knew so I went back to Gabon, and then obviously after all this, what I was talking about, everything started to take off. I've worked. So from Gabon, I went back to Europe. So worked in Holland, went to work in Malaysia, and then through my work, travel so much, doing different jobs, and that's what I mentioned the 30 countries that I visited. And after my work in Malaysia, I came to Australia, and we decided to stay in Australia with my husband and the kids. So we became basically we became Australian. But through the process, I got sent to Africa again. So I worked in South Africa in management role in the oil and gas industry. So basically worked, in different countries and have the opportunity to interact with so many people. And one of my girls was born in Gabon, the other one was born in Malaysia. So I'm a true international citizen. And through this process, I must say, my husband have been really a good, supporting partner, because I think without him, it would have been very difficult. He's also in the industry, so he has helped me a lot in the process. And the good thing with my husband is originally also from Gabon, but he has done all his university in the US, so he had a different perspective as well, with me bringing mine from France, from Gabon, from other countries, and him as well bringing what's happening in the US. We had a good learning, a good cultural intelligence, and a good blended knowledge of what's going on in the world. And I actually stress out to anybody listening that traveling is key. You need to travel. You need to go and learn from other people, especially people who are different from you. Learn about their culture, learn about what they think, their thought process, what they do, how they solve problems, because it's a wealth, and that has been my wealth so far. I mean, money is not that; it's really all the cultural that I've been able to learn from, and that's what gave me this mindset and this global mindset that I have. So and that's important. So that's part of the thing. So how do I do all of this? I must say that before my children were actually grown up, I was just doing what I had to do. And I really started to come out when my girls were very independent. And it's just I would say the last 6 years, because my youngest daughter is going to be 18 soon. So really started to come out when they were a little bit more independent and push myself, because before that I was really, focusing on my family. And that's another thing for a woman, is that we can have it all, but I think we can't have it at the same time. So we need to compartmentalize things. There's a time where you really have to focus on just one thing. You can choose. I mean, I've choose for a certain number of years to focus on my relationship with my husband and the kids, while still keeping a connection with my professional life and everything else. And then at some point I said, okay, enough, I've given enough. I can now take off and really, start to give to the community and give to myself, and really start to live the life that I really want to, and focus on my goals and what I want to accomplish. So it's been a mindset, work that I had to go through. And your question, Anana, I also made sure, when I was traveling all over the world, with my family, and for work, to make sure that I get help, I get support. So when I was in Gabon, I would get support with the kids, with my family, and then while traveling, when the kids were young, we were making sure, because you have to be strategic as well. We were making sure with my husband that we go in countries where we can have help. So we went to countries like Malaysia, we went to countries like South Africa, where we could have help, cheap help, to help us to take care of the kids while I could still work, and while we could still both work. So a lot of strategic thing. And that's where, people don't understand that you also have to plan your life, because, you can't leave it, you can't just leave it to, yes, God is here, but you have to give God, you have to ask God to give you direction and plan for that. Because if you leave it to chance, then everything's crumble. But when you plan strategically, you bring the right people, you get the right support, it creates something fantastic. And I think you were talking for careers the same. You need the mentors, you need the sponsors, because you can't do it on your own. It's a collaboration all the time, at home, collaboration with your husband or your partner. That's when the kids are a bit older, it's the collaboration with the kids, because you have to, they have to be responsible as well. And then going forward, it's collaboration with other people if you are in business or whatever. So the collaboration aspect is important. You can't do it on your own. You can be as smart as you can. You have to get this support to propel you to the next level.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. I know. Oh my goodness, there's so much that we can talk about, and there's just one thing I wanted to end with a quote, even for us here in North America. And when you were even speaking about, Africans in Australia and being in a land, but being born there, but not being from there, it is so key. So I just want to first say thank you. I know you are 12 hours ahead. It is now 7 a.m. for you. You got up at the crack of dawn to come hang out with your blessed girl. And I want to say I appreciate you. I thank you so much, the audience, for Dr. Betty Speaks. That's my mom, Elizabeth Pfeiffer, is chiming in, and she's saying everything. And even when you spoke about, that support, I know when my kids were younger, like, my mother was the, the caretaker, caregiver, especially when having a career. So I totally get that. Sharice Blue chiming in. She said, if you could see it, then you could do it. Yes, that part. So us, being those examples, and being open and willing to tell your story, to share your journey, really always helps, and really allows others to have that freedom, that liberty, and just the courage, that if she did it, I could do it. And I believe that, of course, with this platform, and of course, Moms on a Mission, that, listen, if you can see me, if you can see Mireille, you hear her story, then you know that you too can do it. And I'm just so grateful and blessed that you were able to be here with me today, and share on this platform. So I know you'll be back, and we've got a lot to
I'll be back. I'll be back, because it doesn't stop here. It's, you have to come all the time. And even in this empowerment work that we're doing, and it, we always have to sometimes go back, because people forget. You have to be in their face so they understand, what, it doesn't stop. It's a full-time work. It's a full-time job that you have to do, and to keep, being up there, and to keep going to the next level of your greatness, because, you are unlimited. And I always said, you are unlimited. Don't stop where you are. You have to continue to expand. Dare to expand. DARE, to expand, to excel, and don't stop where you are. It's important. It's
Don't
very
stop.
important.
Don't stop. Dare
I've
to
had
expand.
an amazing hour,
Yeah.
and I'll be really pleased to come back and continue what we started, because it's just the beginning, I
That's it.
think.
That's it. We're just getting started, guys. So thank you again, Mireille, for being here. So, guys, make sure you follow, connect with Mireille Toulekima. Got that right. So Mireille is definitely it. I just love that name. But I want to just thank you again. So make sure, guys, you follow her, connect with her, see all the amazing things that she's going on, new book projects and magazines and all the great stuff. But you know what? I just want to end you all with this quote, because she really did speak about something that I felt, definitely resonates with us here in North America, and just hearing the story and the connection, because she's across the world, right? But even being a sister, an African sister, at the end of the day, that's who we are, right? True to our roots. There's this James Baldwin quote, and it says, to be African American is to be African without any memory, and to be American is without any privilege. And I think that hit me today, and I'm just so grateful to connect with amazing sisters like Mireille, African sisters, because there's just this love, there's just this synergy, this greatness that really is amongst us. So even her being in Australia and then here in North America, that we still have this same struggle. And that's just this James Baldwin quote. So I'll say it again. To be African American is to be African without any memory, and to be American without any privilege. So listen, I thank you. We certainly encourage you today to continue to move forward, and to move forward, be great, be bold, be you, and y'all know what I say, be blessed. So thank you from North America, and from down under Australia. We're signing off. Thanks for watching today.
Thank you for watching, and it's been amazing for me to share my story, and I continue to share it all the time. So thank you everybody for being here to listen, and don't stop there. Like I said, it doesn't have to stop here. Share what you've just listened, and go and empower somebody else, another woman, another girl, or another boy, whoever you choose to empower, because empowerment doesn't stop at me. It doesn't stop at your level. It has to continue. And you have the responsibility to do that. So thank you so much, Dr. Nana, for having me, and for bringing up, this conversation. We need to have those platforms to talk about all of this and to share our stories, because like I keep saying, when people can see it, they can do it, and it's important that they have this mindset. So thank you so much. Thank you so
Powerful,
much.
powerful, powerful. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next week. We have an amazing platform. Next week, we have our Women in Youth Civility Summit. And each night, I'm bringing the girls back, and the girls are bringing friends back. So they are going to be talking each night. Monday night, we're talking civility. Tuesday night, we're talking community. Wednesday night, we are talking creativity. And Thursday night, we're talking climate change. So make sure you plug in. So all week, same time, 6 a.m., we've got folks from South America, South Africa, Eswatini, I think that used to be Swaziland, but we have an amazing global platform of girls, and they're bringing some guys, but the girls are going to be in the forefront, and they're going to be sharing about the 4 C's. So make sure you plug in, stay connected, because listen, it's our time to shine. So we'll be back next week. Thanks for joining. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Take care. Bye.